Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I'm Jeff, and I like New York in June. How about you? And joining me on the other end of the internet, my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and why can't I be Katharine Hepburn?
Who wanted to be? I don't remember that. Who wanted to be Katharine Hepburn? Was that Michael Jeter?
I think that was a Michael Jeter line.
It feels like it must be because I can't think of anyone else in this movie who wants to be Katharine Hepburn. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, he's delightful in this.
he
Um,
is. Oh, he's so good.
Yeah. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are discussing The Fisher King, the 1991 Everything's Coming Up videos masterpiece, written by Richard Lagraveniese. I don't know. It's either that or Grave Niece.
We
So I
had
don't.
more difficult names last episode.
I know this was a tough one for me though. And directed by Terry Gilliam, starring Robin Williams, Jeff Bridges, the aforementioned Michael Jeter, Mercedes Rule, and Amanda Plummer. We are doing this in conjunction with Season 4, Episode 5, Radio Days, and our spelling connections, plural. Lana Harris, who played the character's name was Sonia, maybe? Let's see. Sandra, almost. Um, and Kathy Najimy, who was in an episode or was in the movie Soap Dish, but she was the video store patron who was super annoying in this movie. So, yeah, we're watching it because there's a disc jockey in it, and he takes callers, and it doesn't go as well as it goes when David and Donna take callers. So you had never seen this movie. I saw it in the theaters when it came out, and a few times since then. Um, what did you think?
I'm in a pickle here because I don't know how I feel about this movie. I
Okay.
know I feel like I enjoyed on some level watching it. Like I was interested the whole time. I did not have trouble staying away from my phone. It was very interesting. Um, it wasn't your typical movie about trauma and mental illness. Like they did something I feel very unique with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm struggling. I was thinking about it earlier because I really hate when I can't decide if I like or dislike something. But I was thinking about kind of similarly, but not, to saying Schindler's List is a good movie. Like, oh, I liked Schindler's List.
Oh, it's a
Really?
great movie. No, but there's a difference between.
There
Um,
is.
I had a lot of fun watching this. Like that's not the Schindler's List experience, but it's a phenomenal movie. You know,
Well, yeah. I
yeah,
think I'm sure I'm not alone in this. It's one that I feel weird saying, like, oh yeah, you gotta watch it. Cause like you do. It's a
you do.
cinematic
Yeah,
masterpiece. You
and
definitely
also
should.
it's really important.
It's
Like,
very important.
yeah,
Um
no, I recommend that one without reservations. I just tell people, um, you're you're not gonna laugh. Like it's a downer movie. It's really sad.
I saw a
This
little
isn't
girl in
that.
a red coat today and I was like, oh
Oh
God.
yeah. This isn't that though. Like this is sad, but it's also in parts uproariously funny.
Yeah.
You know. So what this movie is, Cheesemeisters? It's about Jeff Bridges is uh, a Howard Stern like in the '80s disc jockey. Not Howard now. That's not. He's not the shock jock kind of whatever that he used to be. For the better, I think. But this is very much like a caustic shock jock type radio personality who like basically tells a mentally unstable person on the phone who calls in all the time He basically goads him. Just, not he's not trying to get him to do anything. He's trying to make radio. But the guy takes what Jack told him and uh, takes it as instruction almost to walk into a diner with a shotgun and kill a bunch of people. Um, that's how the movie starts. And then cut to 3 years later, Jack's a mess. He's dating and living with and working for Mercedes Rule, who owns a video store and lives above it. And he's a hot mess. And just, he feels responsible that, he did this and it destroyed his career, obviously, but he's broken. And he is, do they, do, how do they meet? How does he meet Perry?
He was stumbling around drinking.
It was when he protects him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, because he gets beaten up by these guys who I guess want to hurt homeless people. It's awful.
Just beating the homeless. Yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah, I was like, this is a thing?
Yeah, yeah. So Jack is drunk, just out of his mind, drunk, and finds himself wandering the streets of New York, um, looking and behaving like one of the hundreds of homeless people that you see on the street. And so he's confused for a homeless person by a little girl who gives him a wooden doll,
Yeah.
which is really sweet. But also, that's the moment he realizes that he looks like a homeless person, because she calls him Mr. Homeless Man or whatever she calls him. Um, and he wanders off in a stupor and is getting beaten. And Robin Williams shows up uh, with a trash can for a shield and a Ford, I don't know, sideboard, something that says Ford on it as a sword.
Yeah.
And he's a knight there to protect Jack. And um, it turns out that Perry, who is Robin Williams, used to be an English teacher, used to be a normal, healthy person with a life and a girlfriend and an apartment and all of it. But his wife was killed in the incident, in the shooting that Jack caused, which Jack finds out about and feels like he needs to put things right for Perry. But not for Perry. He wants to do it for himself so
Yeah.
that he gets this curse off of him that he feels is there and can resume his life of being rich and, being on the radio and
Yeah.
writing a biography and whatever. Um, but it ain't that easy because Perry's broken. Um, Emotionally, mentally, he he can keep himself together enough to function in the world, but he has psychotic breaks
Yeah.
frequently. And he thinks that he is a knight on a quest to get the Holy Grail, and he knows where it is. Thankfully, it's downtown. It's nice when it's so close. Um, but he can't get to it, and he's chased by a crimson knight on a horse, and Jack tries to help him. He tries to give him money, and it doesn't get him anywhere. And then they Perry tells him about this woman that he's in love with, that he follows from a distance during her work day, and she's this very shy woman, and she's she follows a routine, and he's totally in love with her
Yeah.
from afar, and but obviously can't get up anything to speak to her because he's so I he's still stuck with his old girlfriend's brains on him. I mean, he's in really bad shape. But Jack says, "Oh, if I can do this, I can. This will put things right, and I will be back on the good foot again, or whatever." Um, and they come together, and they do get them together in a delightful ruse. Um, that we'll have to spend a lot of time talking about later. And through a remarkably ad-libbed first date where Mercedes Rule and Jeff Bridges are laughing IRL. Like they they're just like she tries hard for a while not to laugh, and then they're just giggling the whole time at Robin
Yeah.
Williams and Amanda Plummer playing with the food. It's yep, it's wonderful. Um, and and they go home. Perry takes Lydia home, and Jack and what's Mercedes Rule's character's name?
And
Anne.
yeah.
They go home, and Jack's feeling all good about himself because he did it. He, put them together, and it seems as though he did, except for that uh, the minute that Perry kisses Lydia, he has about 30 seconds of happiness, and then he has a total mental break again. And is he beaten up? Yeah,
Oh, yes, he is.
horribly beaten up, and goes into a coma. And he was in a coma before, after his wife was killed, and he ain't coming out of it. Um, Jack, however, doesn't like he doesn't know about this, so he calls his agent, and he goes. Then he finds out about it, so he's like ready to get back to work. And because he's so excited and ready to get back to work, fuck you, Anne. Don't
Fuck
need
you,
you anymore.
and fuck you, Michael Jeter.
Yeah, fuck you, everything. He's back to who he was because he took care of that. Yeah, he took care of that business. Um, and even after he finds out that Perry is still in a coma, and that he he, he absolves himself
Yeah.
for a bit, and then he comes back, realizes that um, he can't leave Perry like this, and not for his own selfish reasons, but because it's what Perry wants. It takes him a while to get there.
Yeah.
But he goes for the grail, breaks and enters, sneaks out, saves a life, um, brings the grail back to Perry, and Perry is healed.
Yep.
Um, so that's what happens in this movie. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the thing that's interesting to me about it, and I don't know, when I saw this, I don't know, 17, 16, whatever I was
Oh,
in
wow.
1991. Um, and so I liked, I'm trying to think about what I liked at the time or why I wanted to see it. And I think it boils down to I knew Terry Gilliam from Monty Python. I hadn't
Yeah.
seen anything else that he had directed. I missed all of his stuff in the 80s, which I want to talk about later. Um, and Robin Williams, who I know that I like. Um, and I was kind of blown away by this movie because I'd never seen anything like it. Like, I'd never seen something that was this surreal and this disturbing and this funny,
Yeah.
all rolled into one. Um, so I'm not sure that I understood what it was about until this viewing, and then I got it. Then I really saw, like, because I fucking paid attention. But did you did you grab the story of the Fisher King that he tells
Yeah.
to go ahead?
I knew when he started into the monologue, I went, I mean, from the line of, have you ever heard the story of the Fisher King? My ears
Mm-hmm.
perked up because I thought, this is important. This is going to be the two of them. At the time, I wasn't entirely sure who the Fisher King was. And then
Mm-hmm.
I watched that monologue again before we started, and I went, it's Jack.
That's exactly right. But it's so fucking interesting the way they do it.
Yeah.
So here's because I looked up what the story of the Fisher King is, and it's slightly different than what Perry tells him, but um, but not entirely different. So here's what Perry tells him for people who didn't watch the movie this week and this isn't in their head. It begins with the king as a boy, having to spend the night alone in the forest to prove his courage so that he can become king. Now, while he's spending the night alone, he's visited by a sacred vision. Out of the fire appears the Holy Grail, symbol of God's divine grace. And a voice said to the boy, "You shall be the keeper of the Grail, so that it may heal the hearts of men." But the boy was blinded by greater visions of a life filled with power and glory and beauty. And in this state of radical amazement, he felt for the Grail. Or he felt for a brief moment, not like a boy, but invincible, like God. So he reached into the fire to take the Grail. And the Grail vanished, leaving him with his hand in the fire to be terribly wounded. Now, as the boy grew older, his wound grew deeper, until one day, life for him lost its reason. He had no faith in any man, not even himself. He couldn't love or feel loved. Charles Foster Kane. He was sick with experience. He began to die. One day, a fool wandered into the castle and found the king alone. And being a fool, he was simple minded. He didn't see a king, he only saw a man alone and in pain. And he asked the king, "What ails you, friend?" And the king replied, "I'm thirsty. I need some water to cool my throat." So the fool took a cup of water from beside the bed, filled with water, and handed it to the king. As the king began to drink, he realized his wound was healed. He looked at his hands, and there was the Holy Grail, that which he had sought all of his life. And he turned to the fool and said in amazement, "How can you find that which my brightest and bravest could not?" And the fool said, "I don't know. I only knew that you were thirsty." And so, as you say, which of them is the king? Which of them is the knight? Which of them is the fool? Because what the myth of it is, and it, like all of these are theory and kind of legends. You can tweak little details, but
Yeah.
the core remains the same, right? So the core of this story is a king who is injured, usually to his junk, because it's about fertility.
Yeah.
And the king is infertile, and so his land is infertile.
Got
And so the land is rotting around him. He's given the grail to protect God's grace, but also it's a sign of fertility.
it. Yeah.
Um, and he's placed in charge of the Holy Grail, and a knight must undertake a quest, usually like a Grail quest, in order to heal the king, which then heals the kingdom.
Got it.
So, as you say, who in this story? Because Jack and Perry both have an injury,
Yeah.
and it's kind of the same injury. It's not an injury to their hand or their business, even though you could probably give it a
It's
look and
their
see
head
as
and
he
their
dances
heart.
around. But yeah, their injury is to their mind and their spirit. They have the same injury from the same event. The land is in ruin. It's overrun with gun violence and homelessness and just wretched capitalism and mental illness. And Perry, when we meet him, we think he's the knight, right? Because he shows
Yeah.
up as a knight. He tells us he's on a quest for the Grail,
Yeah.
and um, Jack also needs healing. Like he needs to go on a quest to heal himself for the right reasons, not for his
Yeah.
own selfish reasons. And it's not until he finally gets there, and because he thinks over and over again that he's done it, that he's healed himself with these like false solutions, and because they were for the wrong reason. They weren't I only knew you were thirsty. They were, what can I get out of this? And so it never works until he actually does the selfless thing, until he actually goes on the quest and brings back to the king that which would heal him.
Mhm.
And it's so interestingly done in this movie, you know?
Yeah. And this doesn't necessarily speak to the Fisher King story, but
Mhm.
I appreciated the fact that it I feel like it very much gave or had the theme of healing is not linear and
Oh, for sure.
you will never be fully healed. you will have scars. You will have things act up
Mhm.
when it rains, you know, like this is very much a part of who you are now, but you can survive it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, you see it over and over again with Perry. Like, because and you, but you see it with Michael Jeter too. Like, there are moments of absolute lucidity for
Mhm.
these guys. And you see it with a lot of the other homeless people that he interacts with in the movie, and with Jack himself. Um, Moments where they feel good, and even
Yeah.
with Anne, right? And Anne and Lydia, like Lydia has moments, little moments where she feels good, and then she's pulled back into who she is, and they're all pulled back into the thing that they're trying to heal.
Yeah.
Um, I think Anne and Lydia are trying to heal stuff too, but we don't really get as much of it, so it's hard to kind of hang the whole story. Um,
Yeah, they're both so interesting, and it's hinted at, it's funny because Anne, no, I'm sorry. Lydia for some reason doesn't seem like someone who probably has much dating experience until she goes through her monologue of like, you're going to come up for coffee and then we're going to have a drink and then we will,
mhm,
and then you'll spend the night, and like goes in through a whole thing. It's like, oh, you have been hurt, you
mhm,
do, like, you're not just living in your romance or like living through your romance novels, you've been through that.
mhm,
And then clearly Anne has stuff too, but we don't get enough hints at it through Anne, and it's really disappointing because she's like, that scene when he's trying to dump her is,
mhm.
I don't know, I feel like Anne was so undersold, and that actress won an Oscar for this.
Huh? She's fucking great.
I mean, she was, and I'm like, way to take a role that I feel is so underwritten, and like you sold it, honey.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that that character is, we're just not given backstory.
Yeah.
You know, we're only kind of given her in the moment, and what we're given of her in the moment is more than enough to win her the Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, like just all of it. Um, and not for nothing, this movie passes the Bechdel test. Like,
Good
that
point.
scene with the two of them together, they're not talking about a man.
No.
They're talking about her
Yeah.
and each other and their life experiences. And it devolves into hysterics. It's very funny. Um, but like, she gets to play all the notes in this thing. I mean, I don't think there's a bad performance in the movie. Like, I
No.
love all of those five people. Like, Michael Jeter is steals it. Like, whenever he's in the thing, he steals it. That the everything's coming up video scene is fucking glorious. Um, and he's also touching, and like, he's heartbreaking. When he's not in that moment. When he's doing his gypsy, I mean, he's right there. He's everything he wants to be in that moment. It's all the other times when he's unable to be Mama Rose that it's that life is a horrible struggle for this character. But he is so his performance is just great. And this is 2 weeks of Robin Williams in a row playing drama and comedy. Um, I'm wondering what you think about the balance of those two things in these two roles. Like, they're obviously they're different. They're modulated way differently. Um, he's playing sad and funny in Good Morning Vietnam, and he's playing um, manic and um, terrified and broken in this movie.
I thought it was more seamless in this film,
Yeah.
and not for, and that's not calling out his performance. I think that's appropriate for the character. It would be more seamless. in Good Morning Vietnam, you have someone who is performing for people.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he's
All
not
the
performing, he gets to be off
time. Hmm.
somewhat. Like he's still Robin Williams, so like he's only so off, but like
Yeah.
there's more of a jumping back and forth. Whereas this one, it's a lot more seamless and interesting because it'll just happen and you might not even notice it right away. You might think like, wait, he was fine. What happened?
Hmm.
He was fine just a minute ago. Um, it makes for a more compelling performance, I think.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I would definitely say more compelling.
Yeah. I think it's also like in the moments of hilarity, there's an underpinning of menace
Yeah.
kind of all of the time because you're like even when there's a couple times when when there is no menace. I think. Um, I think there's no menace in the Grand Central Station dance
Yeah.
number. That's just joy.
Yeah.
Like that's and there's no menace in Lydia's trip to the bookstore or the video store where they're knocking over all of the shit. Um,
The
that's
date.
yeah the date. There's no menace in the date until the very end of it, and then there's the menace of his disease, that he can't overcome. Um, but most of the time, even when he's being his most like, it's really funny that he's singing "I Like New York in June" again and leading a chorus of bums to sing it to defeat the yuppies. Like, okay, like that is zany and it is weird and it's funny, but it's tragic, you
Yeah.
know, underneath all of it. And when he's out there, wanting to part the clouds and dance around naked in Central Park and um like all of that is it's funny, but it's also very sad.
Yeah.
Um and even the everything's coming up videos, which is really funny, and he sells the shit out of that scene. I mean, that's Ducky level
Yeah.
owning a performance, you know. But even underneath that, there's a broken human.
Yeah. It's even though Jack is giving him something to do and a job for the moment, like a use for his madness, it still feels a little like you're taking advantage of this person's ability to be unhinged in front of everyone and not
Right.
care.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's an ooginess underneath it, you know.
because where's he gonna
But
go after that? That's when's his next gig?
right, yeah. But like even knowing there's the ooginess while you're watching it, I, I laughed out loud the whole time. Like it's so funny. Like it's such a well done, over the top, like the parody song lyrics, like nailed
Oh
them. About renting videos. It's,
yeah, fantastic.
all of it is so good, and Lydia's reaction to it is hysterically funny because it's like the worst thing that could happen to her is this amount of attention being focused on her at work when she's just trying to get through her day and not bump into people.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's the counterpoint of all of his exuberant energy and her stay away from me. It's just that balance is so great.
Yeah, the I noticed so many shots from unique angles.
Uh
Like
huh.
and in some at some points it looked a little off kilter because which makes sense because the characters are a little off kilter.
Hmm.
And in that scene especially, everything's coming up videos, you know, it will like Michael Jeter will aggressively lean in. We see Lydia from this position and you just I don't know how you do that, but you feel the embarrassment from the angles alone.
Yeah, yeah. It's look, Terry Gilliam knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does.
Like he does, and what he's doing is often some weird shit, but he knows what he's doing.
He he's not my favorite Monty Python, but watching this movie made me appreciate him so much more.
Uh-huh.
Um yeah, I don't know what it is. I think his animation is just so it's so weird. And
Oh,
like
it's super broken. Yeah.
it's sometimes it's fun and then other times it's like this is too much for me. But
Huh?
it's but again, it's very unique and it's a cool style and like I can't knock anyone for knowing and having a style.
Yeah. Yeah, you know a Terry Gilliam movie when you're watching it. And that will work for you to greater or lesser degrees depending on the way the film lands for you. Um how much of his stuff have you seen?
Only Monty Python in this.
Yeah.
There might
Um
be other things, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Here's a couple I think it's possible you saw, but no guarantee. Oh, you know what complicates this? Walter. Because I think there's a chance that Walter might like some of this stuff and may have shown it to you, but you just wouldn't remember that it was Terry Gilliam.
Maybe.
So, like Time Bandits. Have you seen Time Bandits? Okay, I haven't either. There's a bunch of his stuff I haven't seen. Brazil. Have you seen Brazil?
No.
I I've tried.
Oh no.
I I can't finish Brazil. It is too fucking weird for me. I can't. I've made it halfway through like twice, and I'm just my brain then breaks and I'm done. The
Yikes.
Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
No.
Okay, I haven't seen that one either, but it's like a thing. Um, okay, 12 Monkeys. Bruce Willis, sci-fi.
I think I think clips of that were played in a, here's the thing. I know I haven't seen all of it. Or
Mhm.
if I have, I blocked it out because I really didn't like it.
Yeah,
Um yeah, this is crazy. I feel like I saw clips of it in a class or I watched it with an ex and I just did not care for it.
gotcha. I'm not sure I've seen it. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
No, but
Really?
well, we talked about that recently because I was like, I love the book. Um but I haven't seen the movie and I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I have not read the book. I saw the movie. I did not like the movie. But I'm told that if you like the book, the movie is exactly what you like about the book.
Okay.
Like,
I like Hunter
so
S. Thompson. His stuff is really weird and just so listen, I'm never going to be that drug fueled, so it's exciting to read someone who can be that coherent while
yeah.
on everything.
And I've read some of Fear and Loathing, like as it appeared in Rolling Stone. Because it's got a phenomenal, that's the opening sentence is like, what is it? Like we were 200 miles outside of Barstow when the LSD kicked in or something like that.
Oh,
And you're
maybe.
like, we're in for a ride now, kids. Like whatever's going to happen. Um, I didn't love the movie. I just thought, but I think I didn't know what I was going into either. But um, and then the only other thing I've seen of his that was on this list is there's a documentary um, about he tried to make a Don Quixote movie with Johnny Depp, and it was beset upon from all sides by calamity, like
Oh
including like
no.
torrential flooding. Like, I mean, it was, and so there was a documentary that was put out about it, and you watch it, but it was, I mean, it was a disaster. They couldn't finish the movie. Um, so all of this is to say that Terry Gilliam does some weird shit, and I haven't even seen most of it. Even though I've heard of like all of the things that I just told you about, like I know what they are, never once seen them. Um, and the one that I did see, other than this one, I didn't love. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Um,
it happens.
uh,
I don't love all of Wes Anderson's stuff.
yeah, well, yeah. People who are weird on purpose, I don't think there's any way to like everything they do, because it can't possibly
No.
all. But that's true of people who aren't weird, like who just do stuff. You're like, well, that one I didn't like. Um,
Yeah,
Not us. All of our episodes are great. 100% approval rating. Okay. Speaking of 100% approval rating, Adventures in Intimacy.
yeah. Um, a lot of so we had like two main relationships, but of course, one of them we don't really get to see intimacy between them until like halfway through the film. But I was very intrigued by Anne and Jack's relationship because she's clearly more affectionate and more invested than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bless her, she's waiting until he comes out of it. She's like, I will love him enough. I will love him enough for us both.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. Um, I wrote down they have a kiss on a line. I have a cut, and I don't remember when that.
Yeah, she kisses him and he says, "I have a cut," and she's like,
Oh,
"Well, I'm sorry, I didn't see it."
oh, yeah, yeah. That was one of those things. Like, she goes in for it, and he does the like I have a cut, like expressing annoyance when I don't want to use should in this, but like you should be happy your partner's giving you a kiss. But again, that's also not correct because sometimes you're not in the mood and
Right.
sometimes you really just want to be left alone. So, again, why it's good that I prefaced with I shouldn't use should.
Mhm. As Flight of the Conchords say, "Kiss is not a contract, but it's nice. It's very nice."
It's very nice. I think it just speaks to how well she was doing her job because I wanted her to be in something reciprocated.
Mm.
Um they they have the prelude to a sex scene where she's kissing on him and he keeps saying no, like really don't want to, really not in the mood. And there is kind of a seamless move from she's like, oh, okay, but she keeps kissing him thinking I can turn this no into a yes, which
Mm-hmm.
is interesting when you see it on the flip side. Um and eventually you do kind of see this look cross over his face of like she's not going to relent. Okay, fine. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to put everything on the back burner and tell myself I'm fine, I'm healthy, this is what I want.
Right.
And they, you know, do the thing of pushing stuff off the table and yes, it's fine, it's hot and sexy, even though we've just heard no's expressed and we've just
Mm-hmm.
seen the shift. Um, Very interesting. Uh, Robin Williams has some light little touches. The dudes attacking Jack when Perry is trying to fight them back. He like gives one a brief little kiss on the lip to freak him out, and I thought that
Yeah.
was a funny tactic.
Mm-hmm.
He also go ahead.
No, yeah, I was agreeing.
Oh yeah. Um, I wrote down he does this touch on Jack's face, and I don't remember. I need to be more specific.
What about it? Maybe I'll remember.
That's the thing. All I wrote was Robin Williams' touch on Jack's face. It must have been such a light passing thing.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I hate that I can't remember it. Oh, we'll skip ahead to this big thing. Dancing around nude in Central Park.
Yep.
Man, they had that lighting situated just right.
And here's the thing
Or
about that.
or he had on an extra merkin because like not that I was staring the whole time, that's weird. But obviously I want to be like, are they doing their job correctly?
Uh-huh. Okay. There's a reason that you know how well that scene was lit. And it's the same reason that I know how well that scene was lit. We were both looking for his cock the whole time.
You can't help it. People
The
are
whole
nude.
time. Yes. If there's full frontal male nudity in a movie, This is more true than if it's female nudity, because you get lots of female nudity in movies. If there is full frontal male nudity, everybody's trying to see if you can see his junk all the time. Doesn't matter what the movie is.
Yeah.
It's just true.
I don't know
Um,
why we do that. I don't know why we're obsessed with other people's genitalia, but and I mean we as an outside of this as well. Don't be pointing fingers, world. This is everyone. This is not just Jeff and me.
that's right. No, it's not just cuz hosts. Uh,
No.
everybody likes the naughty bits.
Everyone is curious about what other bodies look like. You know why?
Uh-huh.
Because we all feel self-conscious about our own bodies and we want to see if we're normal or if someone else has some weirder shit going on. Do you have any idea how comforting women must have felt after Orange is the New Black came out and there are like people with multi-level size boobs and you're like, "Oh,"
Sure.
or like
Yeah.
varying sizes of nipples, boobs
Hmm.
alone, but like just all the things that we are self-conscious about. It's nice to see variety, and
Hmm.
I mean we don't see in this case.
Nope.
You know, we see his back.
Yep.
He's
Lots
having
of booty.
fun, dancing, shaking his thing, shaking what his mother gave him, and yeah, it was. It seemed very on brand. I love that they came back around to it at the end with
Hmm.
both of them just laying in the grass, nude.
Yep.
Although in my head I was thinking like, man, you really would have to have a few screws loose to lay anywhere in New York and not think about how many people have pissed, fucked,
Yeah. Uh huh.
how many dogs have pissed or fucked.
Just
Um,
walked in dirty shoes. Yeah.
yeah, I had a hat blow off of my head the other day and touched the pavement, and I was like, oh, it's besmirched.
Yeah. He pierced the toast.
It's tainted. I did. um, but yeah, lighting. Lighting helps a lot in those moments, even though it
Yeah, it
was
does.
already R-rated. But again, they probably didn't want to show off their junk, and that is
Probably.
fine.
You're not
Um,
obligated. Listen, everybody, you're not obligated to show people your penis.
you're definitely not obligated to.
Edict.
That's a good edict.
I think so too. Goes
There's
without saying.
listen, it does, and yet
But we're saying it anyway. It's a
you
public
would
service.
not believe how many, or maybe you would, I don't know, but I get more and more infuriated with people thinking they can barge in on me changing
Mm,
because, oh, well, you're an actor, and I know actors are fine with that. No,
right.
I am a person first, and I
Hmm.
will be a person last. My body is not for you to just see willy-nilly, especially for free.
Right.
Like,
And you don't have a willy, as far as I know.
you know what? Like Lady Gaga, not going to answer that.
You don't have to.
I know. Um,
We just wear a meat dress. Everybody will figure it out.
yeah. There was this fantastic bra strap moment between yeah, Anne's strap is down, which like relatable experience. Um and it's when they're on the first date. So
Yeah.
everyone is like as the evening is wearing on, people are getting more comfortable with each other. They're having a good time, they're acting like old friends. Jack is clearly feeling like, yes, I
Hmm.
did something good. I'm
Hmm.
excuse me. I'm allowed to have fun again. I'm allowed to enjoy myself. Look at this hot woman beside me. I don't enjoy her enough. Look, and like she fixes her strap and then he pulls it back down again and kisses
Hmm.
her shoulder. And it's
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's touching, literally. And I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like there's this I feel like she relaxes a little in that moment, like, oh, finally, it's him expressing want instead of me.
Hmm.
Like I'm always throwing myself at this man. Um, and then the first kiss between Perry and Lydia is just kiss.
Yeah.
Like she touches his face, she puts her forehead against his, and is like, "You're real." And
Yeah.
like, They slowly move from like forehead to nose and then just do a quick little smooch
Hmm.
and it's done.
Yeah,
And it's, I mean, if this was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a rainbow would have popped out in this moment.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It was very sweet.
it was very sweet.
Yeah, yeah. It's delightful. I like that. That whole scene I think is really good between the two of them. You know, like her the having their whole relationship in 30 seconds and him like wait and like then expressing himself and then them finally kissing and like the whole thing is great and then stabs you in the heart.
Oh,
um
I know.
but um but that's this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
There was a lot of great intimacy in this. There was clearly like a lot of work put into what do these relationships look like? How are these people with other people? You know?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Nice. Well, let's go over there in Central Park where everybody's frolicking naked and go to Needle Drop Forest. um all right, so there's two songs in this movie that matter. I mean, the opening credits, "Hit the Road Jack," is really solid.
Yeah.
Using that as his music on the radio is really good. But the the "I Like New York in June" that comes back numerous times throughout the
Uh-huh.
movie is it's funny, and but it's also like it's used in different ways. Like it's used as a shield at the beginning, like when they're fighting off the yuppies and all of the other homeless people come out and as a chorus sing this song as a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, when it's used to show that he's back and he's helping
Yeah.
and that it's joyous at the end.
Yeah.
Like when she comes in and the bed's empty and she like you're like, oh no, where did he go? I hope he didn't leave without her. Like I hope he knew
Yeah.
that she had been coming by. um and instead when you hear the song, you're like, oh, we're safe again, we're happy.
Yeah.
um and it's a really fun song to use for that purpose, in both those ways. And I love both of those things, both of those uses of music. But the everything's coming up video scene is, as I say, Ducky level. Like that is the use of that music and that performance in that context is perfect.
I will never be upset when Gypsy pops up. When
Yeah,
there's a Gypsy reference. Oh my god. Yeah.
yeah.
Thrilled
Um,
every time.
yep, I love that one, and it's just like that's the energy in that scene is unlike the energy in literally every other part of this movie.
Yeah.
Like there's no part of it that's that zany,
Yeah.
And for the zaniest person in a Robin Williams movie not to be Robin Williams, I mean, that ain't nothing.
Yeah. Way to go, Michael Jeter.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fucking wonderful in this. So, that's what I got for Needle Drop Forest. Just those two things are just pretty great. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan. All right, what else time?
I thought it was funny that a Terry Gilliam film had a reference to a quest for the Holy Grail again. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
he goes back to the Grail.
yep, find your Grail.
Hmm. It's it's interesting because Terry Gilliam, I was looking up stuff just about his other movies, and because like I said, I haven't seen a lot of them, but I thought, well, this Holy Grail, which he directed, his attempt at Don Quixote,
Yeah.
are movies about people on a quest. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting that he kind of returns to that theme. But then I found this other thing out there, and it's something about it. It's called his Trilogy of Imagination, and it's Brazil, or it's Time Bandits, Brazil, and Baron Munchausen, with also like I was reading something that somebody wrote about it, and they considered Jabberwocky to be like the first of like it's like a prequel almost to those, but those movies, and stop me if this sounds familiar, uh, focus on a central character escaping an adult world of violence, indifference, tyranny, and or consumerism through a journey into the imagination and fantasy.
Wow.
That's this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's also Don Quixote. I mean, like
Well,
he digs, and I think it's Fear and Loathing a little bit too. Only drugs.
I feel like Terry Gilliam really wanted to touch on the first thing I wrote down. I'll say, like, is close to this. We're all delusional in some way.
Sure.
But more than that, we're all looking to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Like, escape in some way. Can I
Yeah.
physically do it? Great. Can I not? I'll
Yeah.
go somewhere in my mind. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's interesting for like that's such a specific like theme,
Yeah.
human experience, this desire to escape reality because it's too terrible, and seek comfort in the land of imagination. um and that's so much his theme of all of these movies, and it's you know i I kind of wish that I could get through Brazil, but I'm gonna have to try Time Bandits, and I'm gonna have to try some of these other movies, um because it's anyone who wants to mess around in that stuff in this way that, I mean, I don't know that they're all full of magical realism,
Yeah.
but you know if they have anything in there that approaches the Grand Central Station dance number, like I'll just right there, mainline it, I'll take it, you
Yeah.
know like that scene is amazing.
I do love how seamless he transitions from fantasy to reality all the
Hmm.
time. Like, even the fantasy, like, nothing feels out of place. You know these fantasy things are happening, and yet it feels real. It
Hmm.
looks real.
Yeah.
You see the Crimson Knight
Hmm.
no differently than Perry does.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that the Grand Central Station dance moment is awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool because I mean, it just you are, and and sometimes when things get that way, where they're like suddenly it's not reality anymore, you
Yeah,
just go, I mean, you just like, is this just to amuse you, Mr. Director? You
right.
know, like sometimes it insists upon itself. Um,
Like a dream
but
sequence, like a
yeah,
dream ballet.
yeah, yeah. But sometimes, like, and and the end of American in Paris is prime example of when this works, it fucking works. Um, but in this circumstance, not only does it work, but you also know exactly why he's doing it because it feels correct. Like you're put in the mind and emotions of Perry,
Yeah.
and as he follows her through this crowd that for him most of the time would feel horrifying,
Mm-hmm.
it turns into a room full of people dancing, and he is gliding in between, and because all he has eyes on is her, and he's
Yeah.
just focused, and he as he goes through this otherwise horrifying circumstance of so many people, and for him it's beauty and dance and joy and um, solace almost. Um, and so you're like, oh, well, the only way you can express that is to turn this into a dance number. That's all you can
And
do.
And it's just nice to see New Yorkers getting along and being nice to
Yeah,
each other. You know,
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. I was thinking just now, like, when
yes, beautiful thing.
when would you shoot that? Like, because I don't think you can get away
Oh,
with shutting down Grand Central.
I saw it. They shot it basically overnight
Yeah,
from
they
like
have to.
yeah, it was. Let's see. Uh,
Like 3
yeah,
a.m.
the main hall of the terminal was shut down for the shoot from 8 p.m. until first commuter trains arrived at 5:30.
Wow. I'm
Yep.
surprised they got away with shutting it down at 8 p.m.
Yeah. 400 extras waltzed around the mirror ball topped information booth again and again throughout the night. Now on New Year's, an orchestra plays there and people waltz for real. Did you know that?
I did not know that. That would be worth going to on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. You got to get closer to the Times Square than you would like to. But I mean, anywhere
I,
on the island is too close to Times Square for me on New Year's Eve. But
listen, I got to the point where this last year, or this year rather, it it wasn't even going to be consolation enough to drive somewhere.
mhm.
It was going to be fucked either way. So your girl stayed in.
Oh,
That's the level of adulthood I have achieved.
you know what? The only reason I was up till midnight is because the 13-year-old wanted to stay up.
Oh,
Otherwise, I would have been in bed at like 10:30.
I will totally still stay up midnight. I do like New Year's Eve, but I don't want to be reminded of people outside my world on New Year's Eve. I want to have my own fun, not be annoyed by others, being
Mhm.
stupid, being way too drunk, like
Yeah.
drink
Listen,
drink like a lady.
however you want to celebrate me on my birthday is fine. And I totally understand the desire to experience as much of that day waking as possible because
Exactly.
time spent sleeping is time spent not celebrating me. And so I get it. For me, sometimes I just want to go to bed and I'll feel the love even if I'm sleeping.
I party
So
for you.
everybody does. Global. Yeah. No, the world party's for me, baby. That's how it works. New Year's Eve, baby. Um, is this anyone's defining role?
I would say Mercedes rule. It's probably her
Probably.
defining role because not to say that she hasn't done other things, but I could not recognize her from anything else.
Yeah. She did a lot of stuff, not surprisingly, like right after this. Like that she well, I mean, here's what you know her from. She's Josh's mom in Big.
That's right. You did say that.
Yeah. But then she also did like Married to the Mob. She was on a lot of stuff. But I think you're right. This is probably I mean, she won the fucking Oscar for it. So,
Yeah.
um thumbs for that.
And
Um
sometimes your career falls off after that because they don't want to pay you Oscar
no.
actor prices.
Yep, that's true.
That's just one
Um
theory.
it Amanda Plummer has a three-way tie for me for her defining role.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
and I'm not 100% sure you've seen both of these movies. One is this. Another is the role of Honey Bunny in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yes. Yep. I
Yeah,
forgot that's her. Man, she
yeah, she's so great.
she just seamlessly pops up. Like what I know her best from is really recent. She was in season 3 of Picard and she was the
Okay.
villain.
Oh yes. Oh yes, she was. Yeah. The third thing for me though is So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, I have seen that. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
remember her part.
she's she's Harriet's sister.
I saw it so long ago.
Yeah, I mean, I won't spoil the way the movie ends. But she's the one who walks in on Mike Myers naked in the shower and offers him breakfast. And she's like, "How would you feel about silver dollar pancakes and freshly squeezed orange juice?" And he's like, well, that sounds great. And they cut to him eating a bowl of Apple Jacks. And she's like, we didn't have those other things.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome. Um, yeah, so she's in Axe Murderer, which is, I fucking love that movie. So, but I mean, she's Lydia, like real big Lydia in this. So it's hard to say this isn't in the mix for her defining role. But not Robin Williams,
No,
not the dude, um, not David Hyde Pierce,
no,
who is his lawyer. Um, obviously,
not
his is
not
Wet Hot
Q.
American Summer, not Q. Um,
John
yeah, so
Delancey, that's his name.
yeah, John Delancey. Yeah, I texted you that I was like, hey, Q's in this.
Well,
Um,
you texted me that, and Walter saw it over my shoulder because I had texted him the exact same thing.
nice.
We love Q.
He puts humanity to the test in any number of ways.
And you know what?
Um,
I'm on Q's side now.
there you go. The other thing that's worth pointing out in this is the dude's T-shirt. I mentioned it, I'm pretty sure, when we did The Big Lebowski, but the scene in The Big Lebowski where he goes to visit The Big Lebowski and finds out that Bunny's been kidnapped, the far out, man. Like he's strong men also cry. That scene. He's wearing a T-shirt that has a Japanese baseball player on it. Uh, Kaoru Beto is the
Okay.
guy's name. And I knew that because you just hear things, like the trivia of the movie. That T-shirt was Jeff Bridges' T-shirt, and he had worn it in The Fisher King.
Nice.
And he is wearing it in the elevator with Michael Jeter right before he sends him out. Like he's got that T-shirt on under a coat.
Yes.
Yeah. So that T-shirt is in the Big Lebowski later.
That's so great.
Yeah, I love it. It's just that nice little connective thread between these things. That doesn't mean a damn thing. It's just kind of fun.
As someone who has not been able to keep all of her clothes, there are things that I have worn in past like short films I've worked on, and it's nice to have them, you know, it's nice to have them caught on camera and, solidified in time because I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember that outfit. I love that outfit. I miss
Mm-hmm.
that outfit."
I owned that shirt. Laura got it for me
Nice.
at one point, and I wasn't sure if I still had it or not. I don't. It was, I don't know, 15 years ago. I had that T-shirt. So I was like, I wish I had it. I would have worn it. But yeah, it's a fun shirt.
Nice.
I like it.
Some things are
So
built to last and some aren't, unfortunately.
yeah, that's the way it goes. All right, what is this the EST of for you?
What a great question. I think this might be. It's going to sound weird, but I feel like this is the most magical of movies about mental illness, about
Yeah,
healing. This is the most
mhm.
magical movie about healing.
Yeah, it is pretty magical. Yeah, I think it might be. I think this is for me the strangest movie that I like the most.
Oh, okay.
Like there are weirder movies that I have not liked this much,
Yeah.
and there are movies I like more that aren't this weird. But this is the weirdest movie that I like as much as I like this one. Which is, you
What a
know what
praise.
I
I
know.
do. I do.
But I do. I like this movie quite a bit. I was happy that sinking back into it this time, I found it to not only be good, but to be better. Like I enjoyed it more this time.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be a similar thing for me. Like I would definitely watch this again. I feel like this is one of those films where there is something to gain from it each time. There's something
Yeah.
to learn.
And I think the thing that brought me back to it, like the second and third, and even this time, because we were just talking about Robin Williams movies at the end of our Good Morning Vietnam episode, and it was just the vibe of the thing. I was like, I kind of want to see that again because I remember the feeling of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and that was more than enough to bring me back into it this time. And I got more out of it this time than in previous viewings. So I don't know. I really like this. I think it's a good one.
I'm
I'm glad we
glad
did
you
this.
thought I'm glad you thought of it so that we could watch it because I don't know when else I would have seen it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, why would it come up necessarily? So,
Yeah.
um, well, I tell you why it came up because we needed to once again prove my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling,
Even the Fisher King.
even the Fisher King. Isn't this the greatest theory ever? I
It's
mean,
pretty
gravity
great.
can suck it. I don't care if things are floating. Everything comes back to Aaron Spelling. God damn it.
Wow.
I know, right? So join us here next week, Cheesemeisters, when on Wednesday we will be watching season 4, episode 6, Strangers in the Night. And join us here again next Friday when I don't know what we're going to watch because a lot of shit happens in this episode. And we could go
Yeah.
any number of directions. Um, so let's take our deliberations off mic. And but I am excited about some stuff coming starting in episode 7. We're getting some guest stars that are going to lend themselves to fun movies to watch. And
Oh yeah.
I think most of the cheese meistering audience out there, if they remember which characters are around in season 5, you're going to know who I'm talking about, and one of the movies will be obvious, but you may not know about some of the other ones. So that'll be kind of fun. But until then, cheese meisters.
Cheers.
Cheers.